Here.
The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney Group-RE Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the deep freeze. Well, I guess we're coming out of the deep freeze.
Yeah, yesterday was a little worse than today.
Yeah, a little. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group-RE Results, our regular Saturday visit here at News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. And full disclosure, this is all your fault.
Oh, yeah, I brought it back. That's what everybody says. But you know what? I'm sorry. Even though it was really nice and warm in Cabo, I'm not going to lie to you. It feels really good to be home. It does. And everybody, my friends that I was with are like, oh my God, Robin, we saw the news. We saw how cold it is. I'm like, listen, I'm a Minnesotan. So I made a funny little video and I showed them tights on first and then leggings over tights and then socks over tights and then t-shirt and then sweater and then scarf and then long jacket, boots, mittens, hood up, and they were laughing. And then I literally did all that, and I got in my car, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm dying. I had my heat seater on. My car was warmed up. I had my warm steering wheel, so I'm, like, stripping off the mittens, stripping off the scarf, opening up my coat, going, oh, that's much better. So it's kind of funny.
And it is perception, right? We're all shivering in this Arctic blast we've been going through for a couple days. And I looked back, and this time last year, maybe a few days earlier, it was just as cold.
Yeah. Well, my dad, rest his soul, used to say that they would always plan vacation for the week of my mom's birthday because he was adamant that was the coldest week of the year. And her birthday was January 19th. So, you know, I started looking at it just for fun. You know, what was the temperature, what was the coldest temperature in Minnesota? And it came up on January 20th of such and such a year. I'm like, oh yeah, it's right in there. Yeah,
it's always right around Martin Luther King holiday.
Yep. And that's exactly what it was. So anyway, I can't tell you how much my phone has been ringing, and considering it is literally the dead of winter and the most brutal cold that we're going to get, and we're already seeing this kind of activity, tells me we are in for a wild ride this spring, and I am ready for it.
Oh, wow.
I do my vacations, get my warm weather fix out of the way, get our continuing ed crews, get all those continuing ed credits out of the way, and then I come back prepared, knowing that March, April, May, June, I barely take a day off.
Yeah, and you're probably doing, 12, 14-hour days during that period, too.
Easily.
So this cold, has it affected the showings? Because I'm telling you, I don't want to go look at a house.
Isn't that funny? So Elizabeth from our team, who you know, told me that she went to look at a house yesterday. I mean, coldest day of all, right? And that there were 3 other agents there because the house offered or allowed overlapping showings. And she's like, Robin, I was one of 4 showings at the same time. I'm like, well, what was the price of the house? And she said $296 or $298. And I said, well, that does explain it. But to answer your question, people are still out there looking for sure.
Wow.
If it's a, and no pun intended, if it's a hot property, they're going to go.
Well, I suppose, you pointed out in the past that if you're a buyer, there's advantages.
There are advantages.
There won't be as many of you out there because not everybody is as brave. Let's put it that way.
So I will say, I actually had Brett send out an email to our entire team yesterday saying, if you have any listings that are sitting vacant, this is not just winter weather. Now this is extreme cold, so please make it a point to go in every day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and make sure that the heat is running, make sure that the water is running if it hasn't been shut off, of course, and just make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be, because Frozen pipes, roof leaks, water damage, those are among the most expensive winter home disasters that there are. And you know what? They are all preventable. If you're keeping your eye on things and watching things, they are preventable. So that's what we need to do. So I would tell, and even most people who go away for the winter do have somebody that keeps an eye on their house, or a lot of people can watch their temperature from their phone, if they have programmable thermostats, that kind of thing. But I'm just saying, if you've got somebody keeping an eye on it, normally this is the time to have somebody literally watching it like a hawk.
I have a friend of mine, and this wasn't weather related, but it still tells you the scope of the damage. They had a water leak while they were away at work. It was in the kitchen, a plumbing problem, and we're talking $70,000 in damage.
Isn't it something? Yeah. No, it's. I've seen it many a time over. Let me tell you. And the thing is we're Minnesotans, so we're used to getting some cold weather and having to watch our vacant properties. So that's something that we do religiously. But I'm telling you that there are 35 states that are expecting snow and sleet and ice and sub-zero wind chills. And a lot of those states are not accustomed to this, right?
Yeah, right.
So
their homes aren't built for it either.
Yeah, they really need to be watching that stuff because, frozen pipes are no joke.
I see now they're not that expensive at all. You can buy these water sensors that you can hook up to your internet that'll alert you if something happens.
Oh, these smart features that they have for smart homes and security and things like that are honestly amazing.
Do you recommend putting the faucet on at a little thin stream? I mean,
well, that's what my dad used to swear by, and he he had a well. And Jenna said to me, Mom, I think I've read that if you have a well, you're not supposed to do that. And I said, well, I don't know. My dad always did it, but he had an old house, right? So it wasn't great insulation. I sure don't do that. I don't leave anybody's water running if their water is not been like winterized and turned off. I definitely go into the houses and flush the toilets and turn on the sinks to make sure everything is working, but I don't leave anybody's water running.
Is shutting off the water, is that something you recommend? I mean, because doesn't that make it a little challenging to show the house?
Yep. It makes it challenging to show the house, and it honestly can cause problems. It's interesting you would bring this up because I just saw on one of our Facebook groups that a realtor in our office suggested to her sellers that they call a plumber and have their house winterized before they leave for Florida for 6 weeks or something. And they called her back and said the plumber suggested not to do that.
Huh.
So, and I'm not a plumber, so I don't know the technical reasons, but, definitely it's something that you want to check out. Because I know some people do it. And so in some cases it must be a good thing and sometimes maybe not. Now I've had people turn off their refrigerators because they didn't want to pay the electricity, right? So I should say one person. I haven't had it happen more than once. But
I was going to say, I wouldn't want to do that.
They literally I have had more than one person unplug their refrigerator, and I'm thinking, the little bit of an electricity bill that a refrigerator is going to cause you when no one's opening and closing it, I don't think it's worth it. But anyway, this one particular party unplugged theirs, and they had it empty, and they had the doors open, and so that wouldn't get icky smelling in there, all of that. And then it was time to go to plug it back in. Guess what?
Didn't work.
It didn't work anymore. So...
Yep. When we did our kitchen remodel many, many moons ago, and we pulled the dishwasher off, right away I was warned, guess what? When you put that thing back in, it's probably not going to work. And I'm like, why would that be? Just the way it is. And guess what?
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So that's sort of like let a sleeping dog lie. Right?
Exactly.
It's like, let that refrigerator keep working as long as it's keep working, or that dishwasher. But anyway, so I will say that where the freezing pipes come into play are the pipes that are unheated areas or poorly insulated areas. So attics and crawl spaces and garage and utility rooms, exterior walls, particularly behind the kitchen and bathroom sinks, because a lot of times there'll be windows nearby and they're on that outside wall. And I don't think the new houses are going to be nearly as concerned unless they're poor quality. But of course, outdoor faucets, hose bibs, irrigation lines, all of those things are definitely at a heightened risk because these temperatures they're just not what we're used to.
No, they're not. We don't like them. You mentioned newer homes. These insulation requirements have been, 30 years now, right? Is that
right?
Considered the newer home?
Yeah, I mean, what I guess I'm saying is sometimes people are using the cheapest of the windows or
Sure.
There's ways that you can build to the code but still be I mean, every house it's not like a house is a house is a house, right? There is definitely different qualities of construction, different qualities of building materials, smarter builders maybe. Like maybe they think about, this is an outside wall, we need to add this or that or the other thing.
Right.
I don't know. But there's a difference.
I remember during that polar vortex, whatever it was, 6-7 years ago, and we were all checking the temperature of the water coming out of our faucets. Because if it got below this, you better think about doing something about it. I imagine that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. Makes sense, right? Because it's telling you that the water is definitely getting cold. But I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I wanted to say if it dipped below like 35 degrees at the faucet, then you might be having a reason for concern.
It actually is putting a smile on my face because my mom and dad's house, like I said, was an old house, and the kitchen sink had a window above it, and the faucet was on the outside. So whenever it would get cold out, it was common in our house that the cupboard doors under the sink were open so that the heat could get to the pipes. But then also, sometimes if it was real cold, like now, there'd even be a space heater in the kitchen facing underneath that sink, right? So, I mean, he knew his house well enough to know what he had to pay attention to. But what made me smile is I remember how cold that drinking water, I love well water anyway, but how cold that drinking water was out of that kitchen sink in the winter. And I'm like, duh. That's why. That's so funny.
All right. Well, we need to take a break already, Robin. We'll be back in a moment with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE results at News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96 Council. Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back and thanks for being with us. I'm Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results, and we're talking about our homes and this extreme cold that we're experiencing. We talked about the pipes, Robin. That's the obvious one, but the roofs are also a concern, right?
Mm-hmm. And those icicles that people think are so pretty, those are not a good sign, guys.
It's funny when we were growing up. I can remember the monster icicles that came off my parents' house.
Oh, yeah.
And, we'd break them off and run around like idiots playing with them.
Like we're swords. Yeah, we're going to kill each other.
Right. And now you don't really see them that much, except for on the older homes.
Yeah, when you see them, you know that there's a lot of heat escaping the roof. And sometimes those ice dams, which will cause the icicles, will be caused because you forgot to clean out your gutters. So I hope that didn't happen because we talk a lot about that in the fall and in the spring. I mean, it's not a fun job, but it's a super important job because if you get all that debris out of the gutter can do its job. But if you don't, it can't. And next thing you know, the gutter is full of ice and The icicles are running over the side. The gutters a lot of times get tore off. And when those icicles and those ice dams build up, that ice can get up underneath your shingles. You can have, water leaking into the house. Obviously not until it starts to melt, the thaw time, but it's a problem.
The newer roofs, aren't they required to have a certain number of feet of, I guess, shield, a material that they put up there to try to prevent this from happening?
Yeah, and I think as long as they're using the correct fasteners and all those things, but again, I'd be an outright liar if I didn't say that there are some people that, cut corners.
Yeah. So I suppose if you start to see this buildup, you better get up there with a roof rake, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I think keep that snow. If you've got snow piling up on your roof and your roof is a pitch that you can get up there and take that roof rake and get that snow off, it's always a good idea to get that off of there. To leave that, because once the rain comes or the ice comes, it just becomes very, very heavy. It's just not good for your roof at all.
And I see they sell these cables. I have no idea if they're effective or not, or how much it costs to run them.
They are effective.
So if you're really concerned about it, you can get up there and put down these, I guess they're heating cables, right? That'll just melt everything off.
Do you remember when we were young and we would have to take that big metal magnet battery warmer and put it on our battery if our car sat outside overnight?
Yeah, the engine block heaters, The
engine block heater. Like, these kids would not have a clue what in the world. But I'm thinking this is definitely a day that we would have had that. Now, instead, yesterday, I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if my phone app is actually going to work to start my car in this crazy weather. Because it was 22 below with a 33 below wind chill. And I hit the button and boom, started. Crazy. Yeah,
the engine technology has improved considerably. I remember having a vehicle, kind of one of my junkers that I would drive in the summer or the winter, having, the extension cord piece hanging out through the grill. And this was past the time I should have been driving that old of a vehicle and being questioned by these young folks. Why? Is your car an electric car? Why?
That's so funny. That is so funny.
Yeah, trying to start cars in this kind of weather was not a fun thing.
Well, and that's one thing to get a dead battery or car that won't start, but to get frozen pipes or roof damage is a much more serious and expensive problem. So I know that sometimes people poo-poo that kind of advice, but it's really good. So if you, again, are listening and you're going to be out of town and your house is going to be sitting empty, either, do consult a plumber and see if they think it's a good idea to winterize it. I know what their concern is. It's that they can't get everything completely drained sometimes. And if they don't, then that can cause, the opposite thing to happen where it'll burst, because then people will turn their houses down. I mean, you never want to turn your heat below 55 degrees. There's one thing about cutting costs by not keeping it super duper warm. But when my clients ask me, how low should we turn the thermostat? I say, well, definitely not lower than 55. But if I were you, I'd keep it at about 65, because if you want people to come in and look at it, you want them to stick around a little bit. Now, ideally, if you've got one of those thermostats that you can turn up from your phone and there's going to be a showing, you can go on and warm the house up a little ahead of time. Or if you have an agent like me or anybody on the Gwaltney Group, you can call us and say, hey, there's going to be a showing today. Can you go over and turn the heat on for me? And then afterwards, can you go back and turn it back down? Because, of course, that's something we will do for you.
Interesting about that, I just read an article that not in the regular winter cold, but in these extreme cold nights where it's 20 below and colder, they recommend not having your adjustable thermostat operating, because when it's this cold, depending on the construction of your house, it will take a lot of that furnace running a long time to try to catch up.
Yeah, you mean with the one where it sets back to daytime, and
and people like to sleep in cooler at night type thing. Yeah.
Yep. I've also heard, if you want to keep your house at 68, set your thermostat at 70 because it's going to work really hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your furnace. It's just that it's extremely cold out.
And, you always talk about maintenance to your home and doing those things to keep it up to date, your investment.
Yeah.
I think I had told you that we had put new windows in this past summer. Holy smokes, can we tell the difference in our house?
Isn't that something? And it's
I can't imagine what I'm saving on the heating bill because the furnace is not running anywhere near as much as it used to.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it does make a difference. And not just for your bills personally, but just because you're conserving energy over the big picture, right?
Yeah.
Like
right.
If we are all more conscientious about how well our houses are insulated or how good our windows are, all those things make a big difference in using less resources.
Okay, Robin, another break is due. We'll do that and come right back with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.
Did the job.
To Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Thanks for joining us. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Saturday morning, like every Saturday morning here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM at 96.9 FM. We haven't talked for a while, Robin. Do you have any new listings you can share?
Of course. And you know what? I'm seeing something kind of fun. Our listings are normally, I'll talk about our listings in Rochester, our listings in Wabasha, then of course the surrounding areas like the Stewartvilles, the Byrons, the Pine Islands, Orinoco, so on and so forth. But we've been kind of branching out a little bit, which has been a lot of fun. So Michael just listed a new property over in Austin, and Tom just listed a new property in Woodbury.
Oh, wow.
And I have a new listing coming on in Northfield. So yeah, we're just kind of, the word just keeps spreading, and
You're taking over.
Yeah, well, let's hope not, because, but the good news is that it's so easy with technology and with all of our RE/MAX Results agents throughout the state that we can take a listing anywhere in the state of Minnesota. And of course, we have agents licensed in Wisconsin as well. And, somebody will be readily available to do the showings, and, all of that is great. But So let's look at what they are. Michael's over in Austin, 1905 3rd Avenue Southeast. It's a little house. It's 1,030 square feet. It has a one-car garage, and it has 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. It was built in 1954. It's a little ranch-style house, and that one is listed for $189,900.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And we've got a little one here, 1028 5th Avenue Southeast in Rochester, just to give you a difference of, this is interesting, real interesting, difference in pricing between Austin and Rochester. This one is so similar. Built in 1938, so it's a little older, 1,388 square feet, so about 350 more square feet. Has a 2-car garage instead of 1. Has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and this one is $215,000.
That's in Rochester. That's a nice, affordable house.
That is a nice, affordable house. The one in Woodbury, and full disclosure, it's Tom's son, and that's the reason he went up there. But that one is 2,332 square feet, 3 beds, 3 baths, and it has a 2-car garage. It's a ranch-style house. Cute as can be, and this one is $449,500.
Woodbury.
That was built in 1972. Woodbury, yep. And of course, we have a Woodbury office, so there are RE/MAX agents that would go in a heartbeat if we were to get a phone call to show it. So it's not like, well, geez, that's a bad idea. Somebody would have to drive all the way from Rochester to Woodbury. No, not the case. And then we have over in Wabasha, we've got some raw land. I actually had a call on it, a guy that is building barn dominiums that he wants to actually own, but VRBO. And so I told him, oh, this would be great because it's down on the prairie, down by the point, down where the people put their boats in and all the action is. And it's a pretty good parcel. It's 2 acres for $100,000.
So when you say raw, does that mean the utilities aren't there?
Well, yeah, I think there's probably connection. You'd have to connect to them, but
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah. But no, it's bare land. No house on it.
Okay.
Then, we still have some of those lots over in Preston, and we have one with a to-be-built house, and that would be a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with a 3-car garage, and it is sitting on 0.34 acres, so just a third of an acre, and it's $484,325. So that's nice.
Yeah.
We have a couple. Oh, go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, go ahead with a couple more.
Okay. I have a couple of those condos in that nice downtown building, right there, walkable to everything. And they are listed for $245 each, and they're 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and they each come with a garage stall. So that's a great opportunity. I know that if they're still available come match day, those will get scooped right up.
I bet, yeah.
Isn't it crazy that match day is less than 2 months away? Because that is March 20th. So
hey, it's staying late till about 5:30, Robin. So
I know that just means my work days get longer, but it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good. All good.
Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you about these listings and the many others that are available as we get ever closer to the spring market and, want to get a jump on it, and how do they get a hold of you and get things rolling?
I'll tell you, I've been accused of having my cell phone attached to the palm of my hand, and it's pretty much true. So I will answer your call. I promise you. If I am not talking to someone else, I will take your call. It will be a real live human-to-human conversation. That phone number is 507-259-4926.
All right, Robin, stay warm.
I will, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.